Investor, welcome back to the channel, baby. So just wanted to give an update on Bionano Genomics and tell you about my thoughts and feelings. Financial advice for entertainment only. So we've just witnessed this second quarter 2023 earnings call, and here is the transcript. I'm going to show you some points where I think, this is useful, and other points where I think the business is also not doing so well. They're targeting, the first market that they're currently targeting is these blood cancers, these heme malignancies. And they've had a lot of progress worldwide in terms of approval, including the Israel Ministry of Health for the use of optical genome mapping in blood cancer research, and also optical genome mapping reimbursement for blood cancers in the Ontario province in Canada. There's a lot more publications that are coming out, especially validating the utility of optical genome mapping for use in clinical cytogenetics research. I'm working on, the Stratus, which is a high throughput version of the Sapphire system, the new Sapphire system, as they would call it, which will provide 4 times the throughput of the Sapphire system. So when laboratories want to run lots of volumes, lots of samples, they'll be able to do it. And currently in the NHS in the UK, they said that the Sapphire system doesn't have enough high throughput in order to fulfill their needs as a client. Revenues have slightly picked up, $8.7 million for the quarter. It's not enough still, it's still too low. Base crept up to 22 systems to 281, which is still too low. Only 20 systems per quarter. And it seems like it's going to be a really long time till we see revenues pick up if we're only installing 22 systems per quarter and we're only on 281 systems installed overall. Flow cell usage is good because we can see the consumables, 7,062 flow cells sold in the second quarter of 2023, 108% year-over-year increase for the second quarter of 2022. So they're starting to utilize the Sapphire system a lot more, and there are a few labs that are currently running, I think it's 1,000 to 1,500 genomes per year, and that's in Canada with Dr. Adam Smith, and they're looking to actually use it a lot more, and they said they have 2 Sapphire systems, which is sufficient enough at the moment, but later on when they're starting to run higher volumes, they're looking to upgrade to the Stratus. And now the problem is, even though revenues have climbed or flow cell usage has climbed just by a little bit, we're starting to see the expenses continually climb. So we can see here, the second quarter of 2022, a year ago, it was $33.6 million. Right now, we're burning $41.5 million, nearly $42 million per quarter. They said they're going to have this cost-cutting measures in order to reduce their spending, so cost-saving initiatives. They had a reduction in headcount, and they expect to save $20 million, but this is going to be seen over the next few quarters, the second half of this year, and going forward into 2024. But still, even if you were to save it, they're still burning a lot of cash. And when are we going to have the point where the revenue per quarter is going to be equal to the amount of cash that is burnt? Will we ever be able to reach that? Because if they continually are spending more and the expenses continue to climb, will we ever reach a point where we're going to be able to just cover our expenses with the revenue that is coming in? So now they're looking towards installing, as a milestone, 325 Sapphire systems by the end of 2023. I don't think it's enough still. We should be flying by now. We should be selling 30, 40, 50 Sapphire systems per quarter. Even better, hundreds per quarter. This is what we should be aiming to do. In terms of ATM as well, it just makes me think that they're not utilizing the ATM facility strategically enough. It's not, they're doing it as they go, but as they go means that, you're at the mercy of the volatility of the market. If the stock price is going down, you're going to get less for your shares. Ideally, when they had that crazy bull run, they should have accessed an ATM facility then in, was it 2021 when we hit $15 per share? It seems like so long ago, to be honest, when we had that crazy bull run and we had that short squeeze. But yeah, $15 a share. They should have got all the money they could, a bit like Nano Dimension with Yoav Stern. And even that money itself, if you had $1 billion in cash, which is what, Nano Dimension had, for example, looking in hindsight, I know you can never look, in forwards and expect to see what's going to happen. But they should have been more careful with the money that they raised. They had, some expensive acquisitions, which is not bringing in cash right now. And they're struggling to find ways to get financing, to get capital in order to survive. So trying to extend that cash runway, they're very concerned. But still, if they're really concerned, they're still utilizing reverse split ATM. Reverse split ATM could happen again. They're looking at non-dilutive options. But in my opinion, even when we had the quick bump in I think it was August last year when, you know, we hit $4 per share, they accessed the ATM then, but they should have literally rinsed it out. They should have rinsed it out, raised as much as they could, focused on how they can run the business in terms of operations, and really fine tune their operations so they don't burn as much money. It seems like a lot of money is getting burnt, and it's going to continue to have this cash burn quarter over quarter. For me, I feel concerned. I still feel concerned, and it's such a shame because I'm looking at the company. Obviously, you guys know I had 54,000 shares. It's now 5,400 shares of Bionano Genomics because of the reverse split. And I'm looking at the company, and the product is great. The product is tremendous, and I really think it has a place in genomics, and it does have this space where they could have this blue ocean, as Eric Comlin talks about. But the way that the company is being run, it just makes me think that as investors, even me with my low average back then of $1.54, yeah, I had a low average because I started to, all the money that I made from Occidental Petroleum, I dollar cost averaged in, and then when it dropped to a certain point, I was like, yeah, this is my time for me to pick up a lot of shares. And then seeing the business start to burn more and more cash with little growth of revenue, where we should be seeing, you know, continual growth with optical genome mapping, relatively new, but people excited about it. All the academics coming out finding amazing things, seeing that it has its place in all the other studies with PacBio, long read sequencing, with short read sequencing too. It just makes me think, like, what is happening to this opportunity? Why does it seem like this opportunity is fading, you know, for Bionano Genomics? It seems like they had all the opportunity, all the chances to make this really, really good for not only for patients and academics and professionals working in genomics, but also for us as shareholders. Yeah, it's really frustrating. And although they're starting to pick up in terms of flow cell usage and people around the world finding out about optical genome mapping, it seems like we're going to be here for the long run. I'm going to be here for the long run. I'm looking for the best time for me to average down, but I feel like I want to average down when better financial position, because the way that they're utilizing this ATM facility, for me, it's not effective. Even when they've reverse split, you know, as soon as they reverse split, they should have raised a lot of cash. And I think they only raised about, look here, $13 to $12.7 million. We just burnt $41 million in the quarter. So extending to the second quarter of 2024, we're still like playing it by quarter. There's no financial security for us as shareholders. It makes us think, like, why should we average down more? There's a lot of difficulty here. And even if they do try and get a non-dilutive option of getting a loan, for example, if they're to get a loan, trying to raise that money in this kind of market is going to be very difficult with interest rates so high. And yeah, some of the lenders may also be reluctant to lend out big amounts of cash, especially if they do their due diligence on a business and see how much they're burning, and they'll see, will they be able to return their cash to them? Anyways, there's still continual progress in the field of genomics. And you can see here, this is Janek Weiss on LinkedIn. Janeke Weiss, the director of Radboud Genomics Technology Center. They said it's now ready for deployment, their Bionano optical genome mapping system, and they've added it to their diagnostic portfolio, cytogenetics. Again, the area that's being focused on, this is over in the Netherlands. This article's in Dutch, so I translated it back to English. So yeah, they said the optical genome mapping is a new promising technique for detecting cytogenetic abnormalities in the genome. And later on here, you can see one OGM test can replace 3 conventional tests. So karyotyping, FISH, and chromosomal microarray, CMA, drastically simplifying the laboratory process. This opportunity is still here for cytogenetic labs around the world. The opportunity is still here for optical genome mapping to come in and replace these 3 tests. It may not be for everything, but they're saying in terms of, hematological malignancies, optical genome mapping is super useful. Bionano is spending a lot of money on marketing and sales. They're continuing to go on tour. They're calling this the optical genome mapping or Bionano tour experience. And you can see they're spending a lot going around creating videos and trying to really push it out there to academics and make connections, local OGM groups they want to have in different cities. So October 18th, 2023, they're going back on the roads. This is going to be another cash burn expense, but you need to spend money in order to get the sales, I guess. I'm not sure if this is the most cost-effective way to do it, but this is what they're doing in terms of getting communities together, optical genome mapping communities and networking. And sometimes these experiences, spending time building relationships one-to-one like this in this kind of environment can get you sales as well. See, I haven't worked in this department in terms of genomics and in terms of like this kinds of science, but in generally, relationships can get you sales and contracts. And sometimes you may not even be the best candidate for it, or you might be be in the roster somewhere and you manage to get certain things. This works in the world of acting, and it works in the world of football as well, but I'm not sure in terms of genomics if this is the most cost-effective way in order to get sales. It does seem like a good idea though, if they can get people having fun, a nice fun night out, but also discuss OGM presentations and research discussion with food, fun, networking, could get us some Sapphire systems in place or Stratus. This was something I wanted to show you guys as well. This is Andrew Beggs, Professor of Cancer and Genetics. I think he's based in Birmingham, because this is a position in Birmingham here, and he put this up for a genomics facility manager, and he's put you can see that he's put what kind of grade the job is, how much they're paying, and he's showing what technologies are going to be there. He said, do you want to help me run one of the most comprehensive academic-led genomics facilities with some of the most cutting-edge technologies in genomics? Not only is Oxford Nanopore there, Illumina, 10x, Thermo Fisher, Hamilton, but Bionano Genomics is also there. So we can see they're up there with some of the latest cutting-edge technologies, and they've got one in Birmingham, and it's going to be utilized. Over at the University of Birmingham as well, they have their own genomics department, including in June getting a recent grant. So this is world-leading cancer trials in Birmingham get £10 million boosts, and there's a Sapphire system, I believe, there too. I emailed these people a while back. These are the ones who told me that the Sapphire system doesn't currently meet all of their needs because the throughput's not high enough and the cost is too expensive to run, but they are utilizing it, and they have said this too. Here we present the Central and South Genomic Laboratory Hub experience of verifying optical genome mapping. Optical genome mapping has a great potential to become the new gold standard for detecting structural and copy number variations identified by cytogenetic techniques for routine use in a diagnostic laboratory environment. This publication, the objective was to compare the workflow in terms of processing and the analysis times and concordance of results. So they used the Bionano Sapphire system. Their results showed concordance between standard of care tests and optical genome mapping in the analyzed cohort, and also presents details of additional aberrations detected by optical genome mapping due to its superior resolution and sensitivity compared to G-band analysis. As they said to me in an email as well, they said, with improvements to capacity on the Sapphire instrument and automation of key processes, we believe that OGM has the potential to replace G-band chromosome analysis currently used as a global screen in routine diagnostics for hematological malignancies, blood cancers. Okay, so I'm going to cut the video there. Pre-market yesterday after the earnings call, it dropped all the way down to like $3.80. It's now back up pre-market to $4.10. I'm not sure when the best time is for us to dollar cost average, but for me, I'm conservative with my cash at the moment. I'm lessening my shifts at work, so I don't have that much income. But at the moment of time, I think this is really important. We need to keep an eye on how much cash we're burning, and I think we need to really keep an eye on, revenues as well as adoption and all the things that are going to be key in order to get adoption worldwide in different places, because I know healthcare systems and the way they're set up around the world is all different, and I really want to see this company succeed, and I want them to reward the shareholder because we've been here for so long. They need to find ways to decrease their expenses, increase revenue, and return value to the shareholder. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. I just had to tell you my thoughts and feelings and concerns, but I hope you guys enjoy this kind of content. Please hit me with a like, hit subscribe, drop me some comments down below. If you enjoyed this content, please consider joining channel members. It's only 99 cents. Or if you don't want to join, you can also send me any tips you like through the PayPal link in my description box below. Please remember, none of this is financial advice for entertainment only, and I'll see you in the next video. If you want me to cover anything, or if you find any information out, just drop me an email or write me a comment, and I'll see what I can find for you guys. Mr. Investor over and out, baby.